Hello, welcome to Mi Gente on Air. We're here again at the Alpha Media Studios, WWSGW, and I am your host, Larry Rodarte. And I want to invite everybody to come on into the room because we got a really special show tonight. One of the things that I like to push a lot, as well as the organization, the Unión Cívica Mexicana, is educational attainment. And that was one of the real concepts that was introduced way back in 1945 by the founders. One of the three reasons why they actually formed La Unión Cívica Mexicana was for educational attainment for their youth, so that they could help them get through as they assimilated into Saginaw and into the Great Lakes Bay region. And so, it's something that we at the Civica have always tried to get involved with. And their Delta College is having a new program put into place, an initiative for helping students who are going to college or who plan on going to college, to educate them a little bit on different workshops, such as financial aid or what have you. And they're going to be doing an introduction of the program tonight here on this show. So we're going to be informed, and we're going to have several guests who are at Delta College. And I'm real excited to have them all here tonight to explain what El Camino, the program, actually is. So come on into the room. Like I said, if you got a question, you got a concern, feel free to put it in the chat room so that we can address it. And I'm sure we'll be able to, and we can celebrate educational attainment for our Latino youth in the Great Lakes Bay region. So come on in, and welcome to Mi Gente on Air.
Welcome to Mi Gente on Air on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com. Now, here is your host, Larry Rodarte.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Mi Gente on Air. Yes, I am your host, Larry Rodarte, and I'm happy to be with you here this Tuesday evening on the live stream as we broadcast on WSGW Alpha Media Studios. And I'm so glad we have the opportunity and this voice at the table to bring out Hispanic Latino culture to our community. And I've got a great show for you tonight because it's an educational show that informs people about a new program that's happening at Delta College. It's called El Camino. And I've got several guests who are involved from Delta College. And I'm excited because the Unión Cívica Mexicana is having a program on February 27th. I want to make sure everybody knows about this. If you're a grandparent or a parent, you got a student in college, get them to come to this event because it's real important. And we got a great show tonight, like I said. And I've got Monica Hernandez from Delta College, Chris de Guys, I think it is, and also Dr. Elsa Garcia, the singer. No, Dr. Elsa Olvera. So please help me welcome to the show, Mi Gente on Air, the cohorts there at Delta College promoting El Camino program. Hello, how are you all?
Good. Thanks, Larry.
Chris, tell us your actual last name again because I flubbed it up in the intro here.
No worries. It's DeUlis.
DeUlis. I said the guys. I was thinking of somebody out in Canada, right? But Chris DeGulis is heading this program up there at Delta College. And like I said, Dr. Monica Hernandez, Monica Hernandez. Boy, I'm flubbing everything up tonight. Dr. Elsa Olvera and Monica Hernandez are with us. And hopefully down the road, Cynthia Reyes from Delta College will be on the program tonight as well. So tell me, Chris, what is the motive behind El Camino, the program, and what actually is El Camino?
So El Camino is a Hispanic and Latinos focused student success initiative from Delta, built on the responses to community identified needs from the Latino community. And so Dr. Olvera and Monica were a part of some of the work to be able to gather together voices from across the local Hispanic and Latino community in the Great Lakes Bay region. And part of what President Gavin, our president at Delta College, really wanted to do is be responsive to those community identified needs. And so over the course of about a year, some different town halls were hosted to be able to really build up to identifying some solid pieces of what do we really need to work on to better support our Latino students as they're coming in, while they're at Delta, and as they transition to whatever that next step is for them. And so El Camino is the way that they're going to be able to do that. And so this whole initiative is really focused on centering the experiences of our Hispanic and Latino community to be able to really make sure that they feel seen and valued as a part of the Delta College experience.
And I do remember attending the first or second meeting there at Delta College downtown at the new facility. And I was really impressed with Dr. Gavin when he came on board as the president of Delta College, because it seemed like it was a different view from a different lens that he was coming from in terms of, giving the needed support to the Latino community. And so I applaud your efforts, and I think it's great that you've tapped in with individuals in the community who their ideas may have been brought out at the meetings, but also like with the organization, the Mexican American Council, as well now as the Unión Cívica Mexicana, which you're going to be putting forth an initiative, a program on February 27th. Can you guys tell me about that?
Yeah, I'll start, and then my kind of partners in this work will be able to jump in with a little bit more detail. But each month we've been trying to focus on some different topics. We kicked it off in the fall at the Downtown Saginaw Center for Delta. And then we've been really focused on the key issues that were identified by the community members to be able to help with that. And so, as you mentioned, last month we were over at the Mexican American Council. And so we had a conversation then about how do you pay for college. And I'm really excited for the conversation we're going to have at La Unión Cívica Mexicana coming up on February 27th, because we're going to really focus in on how do you finish your degree. And so for some of our students, that might look like, how do you come back after you have stopped out and some life things came up and they come back to be able to finish that out? For some of our students, it's persisting through those things that are going on in your life to be able to finish out that degree, to really attain that educational credential that opens up so many more opportunities. And so we're really excited. Part of the intentionality you named a little bit in that is that we're trying to get out to be with the community in the community. So Dr. Rivera and Monica and Cynthia Reyes helped us to really think about where are those spaces where the community comes together. And La Unión Cívica Mexicana is one of those spaces. And so we're really excited to be able to partner with you this month on this program.
Likewise. And what a staff you've got there, Chris. I mean, those three ladies, powerhouses in our community, really. So can you tell us exactly, Monica or Dr. O, a little bit? I'm going to call you Dr. O because a lot of people do.
Yes.
But tell us a little bit about what's going to happen with El Camino in the event on the 27th.
So go ahead. I mean, Chris did a great job of doing an introduction, of everything we've done. And the originality was to bring the task force together with community members to find out their fears, creating a safe space, and being deep in the community. And as Chris indicated, we started off in October. So with the first initiative, it's, why should I even go to college, right? Individuals don't even know why. The fear factor is there in first generation. Moving forward, we're talking about how do we get started, right? What is the cost for that? And so for this one, it's really, how do I finish my degree? So many of our students, once they bypass the fear factor and they actually go to college, they drop out, they stop out, the mindset of the lack of support. And again, it's first generation, myself being first generation and having succeeded this far should have never happened in my mind, but I'm here. And so for all of us to come together, we're trying to help those individuals that once they're in college, don't take a break, don't take a pause, because one semester turns into 2 semesters, and then you've been out of college for an entire year. So the whole creation behind that is the support system that we have. Chris in the BEDI office, which is the Belonging, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, has a mentorship program. He could talk more about that. But we're really trying to provide wraparound services, mentorship programs, helping our students to stay on track, for that, planning out their courses, registering for that. Making sure they finish out their financial aid, because a lot of times individuals fall within that grade point average diminished. They lose their financial aid. They have to stop out or drop out or pay back. And so February 27th at La Unión Cívica is going to talk about how do they stay in college, not drop out, and do the retention efforts for that. And so with that, I'll have Monica talk a little bit more about that.
Well,
Thank you.
I do want to
Go ahead.
mention one thing real quick, and it just came to my mind. I went to school at Michigan State University long time ago, and the thing is that in those days, it seemed like there was a lot of pressure to finish your higher education within a 4-year period. I don't think it's that way anymore, and I'm so glad it's not because there was a lot of pressure. I mean, in those days, and I think it's really nice that if you do take a semester off or two, you can come back in full force and be a better you. So I just wanted to mention that. And go ahead, Monica, with what you're going to say.
Well, at the Downtown Saginaw Center and Delta College, I'm a firm believer of the resilience theory, right? And it's really that sustainability. Like when the student is in the middle of the degree, how do we provide the support and help them push through to get to the end, which is of course graduation and completion. And so a lot of that entails support, feeling welcome and belong. And a lot of our students, when they trust you, they often will come back to you. And so I think that's really key, because when we get them going and they're taking classes and something comes up, then they're like, okay, what do I do? How do I handle this? I'm struggling in this class because I had to get a second job because I have to pay bills. And so making those connections with our students is very key. And it offers that support. We have a lot of students stop by, not only using our one-stop area to get, some assistance with navigating our system and accepting their financial aid and registering and dropping, but we provide the support that's going to help them make key decisions that will affect their success and that completion of their degree. And I call it the resilience theory. I used to do the professional counseling at Delta for many years on main campus, and I saw the academic caution and probation students and financial aid probation students. And that was something we talked about a lot, and helping our students understand that it's okay. It's okay to have problems. It's okay to understand that there's barriers. It's just how we react and how we realize that you might have to take a semester off, or maybe you might have to just take, instead of 12 credits, maybe you just need to take 6 to keep you on that continuum to the end goal, which is your graduation, that degree.
Something
Nice.
Monica mentioned that really sparked something for me is the connection across some of the experiences. We've also been trying to be intentional about building connections for students so that they understand that there are support services wherever they go at Delta. The team at Downtown Saginaw that Monica leads does a great job of being able to be kind of that one stop that she talked about, to be able to support students for whatever they need as they come through those doors. Dr. Olvera's program to be able to help welcome folks into Delta College through the Education Opportunity Center really creates a lot of those access pieces for students that might not feel like college is for them, but we want to make sure that that is infused across all of Delta. And so my office is in Belonging, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, like really helps to be able to connect those pieces. But without the team that we have, we wouldn't be able to do that. And so we bring in folks from advising, and we bring in folks from our financial aid office. And Cynthia Reyes, I think, has been a pillar in this community for a long time in terms of the admission, and is sometimes the face of Delta for people. So continuing to be able to have some of those folks that have been doing the work for a long time, but then bringing in additional supports so that students know that they have lots of different folks that they can go to that understand where they're coming from, or will at least be willing to listen, even if it's not the same kind of lived experience that they've gone through.
Absolutely. And I think that is key when you're going to college so young and it's all so new to you. You have to have those people there that's rooting for you and that helps you in advising. I know that I don't know if I would have made it through MSU without some key people like that. And so I'm really happy to see that this is happening in Saginaw at Delta College. Tell me a little bit, when we talk about the group that came together from the community, different members, and we had all walks in there, I remember. What was like the main concern, I think I want to ask in regard to what was brought to the attention of Delta College and the president?
I was on that task force. And so we talked a lot about fears, like the unknowns, and meeting our students where they're at. There's a common saying that we say, you don't know what you don't know. And that's very true. I think also processes. Like we understand our processes because we do it every day with students. We help students all the time, but our community doesn't know what a FAFSA is. I mean, why do you have to fill out the FAFSA form? Or, if they got to register, how do you register? And we have tools, at Delta, and we, offer an online orientation that's mandatory. But still, that, again, going back to what Chris mentioned, and even Dr. O, is just that connection, making those connections with our students and providing a safe place where they can come. Again, at the downtown Saginaw Center, as soon as you come in, you're welcome. And then we have a one-stop area, which is just a series. We have 4 computers that students can, log in, and we have assistants, our people. We have got, our whole staff just jumps in and just kind of guides our students and just kind of says, okay, this is what you need to do, and just provides that support. And I think that's honestly, that's key. I mean, I remember filling out the FAFSA form. My parents had no idea what that was and why I had to fill it out. And I really didn't either. I mean, and if I didn't have, I filled it out incorrectly the first time I filled it out. And I had to go back to financial aid and ask them, okay, what do you need? What do you need from my parents? And it was just going back to my parents and saying, okay, I need this and this to help me complete this, because otherwise I'm not going to get help to go to college.
Yes, yeah. So the program on the 27th at the Unión Cívica Mexicana, what are you going to primarily focus on again? I know you mentioned at the beginning of the program. What is going to be the main theme of that night?
The plan is to be able to provide an opportunity to connect with either admissions staff and think about that admissions or readmissions piece. And so Cynthia and some of the other team from our admissions team will be there for that part. And then on the academic advising side of things, of what does that look like to be able to finish out that degree? And it might change for folks depending on how long. If they are still in college and going through their classes, they probably have a plan, because our academic advisors love to be able to plan ahead with our students, but making sure that then they understand how that fits to Monica's point from earlier of sometimes you need to reduce the number of credits that you're taking. And what does that look like to spread that out? Because we have some accelerated courses, or we have students that take classes over the spring or summer, and thinking a little bit more flexibly about what that could look like. And so spending some of that intentional time with some of our academic advisors, but also then hearing from some of our current students and some folks who have graduated from Delta about how they did it. How were they able to finish their degrees? And so part of what I really enjoy about each of our sessions that we've hosted is that we bring in multiple voices into that for folks to be able to tell some of their story and give a little testimonial of what they experienced and then how they were able to navigate some of that complexity. The other piece that I think you're going to hear about on the 27th is some of the support services we have available right now through the state to be able to close some of the gaps that really were parts of what helped to start this initiative. Is we have an opportunity in the state of Michigan right now through the 60 by 30 funds that the state is really pushing for 60% of the state to have educational attainment beyond a high school credential by 2030. And so there's funding available for things like the Michigan Reconnect for people that are 25 and older who don't have that college degree yet, that can come to Delta and have their tuition and fees covered. And so if you can cover your books, or if you can apply for financial aid, to Monica's point about the federal application for financial aid pieces of the FAFSA, to be able to do those things, we can help you along the way. And there's support services available that sometimes people don't think about, because a lot of the time we're thinking about our youth going to college right out of high school. And there's some new supports available for that as well through the same initiative with the community college guarantee and some of those things for our 2023 and 2024 grads. But there's also some of these supports for our older population in terms of like what people would think of as college going, but really it's the people that are making up our community. So folks that are 25 and older that don't have that degree yet can also jump into the process and maybe bring their kids along with them. Because that's what we're also seeing is we have students who are parents that are then taking classes alongside of their kids. Sometimes we have grandparents that are then encouraging their grandkids to be able to take classes with them, to be able to take advantage of some of these opportunities and really have that educational and economic mobility that comes with that.
That is really amazing. I'd like you to just repeat the part about the funding available to individuals that are a little bit older, because I want my audience to hear that loud and clear, because that is really something. I've never heard of such a thing. So please repeat that, Chris.
Dr. Olvera, do you want to be able to share on it? Because I know
Yeah.
you work with a lot of the Reconnect students.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the Reconnect scholarship, and it's through the state of Michigan. We have a great governor, Whitmer, who truly believes, like Chris indicated, in the 30 by 60 initiative to have our state educated with a certificate and or degree. And so anyone over 25 years old that does not have the finances, meaning that the first step is to complete your financial aid to see what type of Pell eligibility and or loans you might be eligible for. And then whatever it does not pay, the reconnects the last dollar and it'll pick up the additional funds. So one, complete financial aid, see what you're eligible for. And then if you don't have enough funds or any funds because you make too much money, that's what happens to a lot of people in the middle class, then the Reconnect Scholarship will pick up those funds to pay for the tuition. In addition to that, Larry, individuals, because you said something early on that's extremely important, is stop out students, right? We see a lot of stop out students here at the downtown Saginaw Center and also Delta College. These are individuals that started, had a great idea, life happened, went out to work, and they're returning back. And some of those individuals, when they came to college, didn't do so well because, again, a majority are first generation. They're trying to balance life, work, children, spouses, and their grade point average dropped. So they lost their financial aid. And if that's the case, if they're 25 and older and apply for Reconnect, it will pick that up. It kind of erases that and omits that grade point average and starts them off fresh to provide that funding for them to continue on their education. So that's the key, is that a lot of stop out students don't know that I can return back and go to college.
Well, I hope everybody's listening to that because that's some great news. And I'm really proud of you girls and Chris, you guys putting this information forth on this program, because I mean, educational attainment, like I said, is really important for our community, for the greater community at large, not just for Latinos, but I think when we do well and our kids do well, everybody does well, the community at large. So thank you for the information you're giving tonight. And thank you for inviting myself as well as members of the Unión Cívica Mexicana to host on the 27th of February. Can you tell me the logistics about it, Monica, maybe the time and what is going to be happening there just in the next 2 minutes before we go into commercial?
February 27th, starting at 5 p.m. And we will have food there. And so that's really important. If you're working or you have a child or a high school student, want more information, please feel welcome to come. We are very respectful of people's time. So we cut it short to 6:30 and wrapping it up by 6:30 and heading out. But it will be a great experience, definitely.
And I want to mention too, one of our sister organizations, the American GI Forum, as all of you know, they give great scholarships. The Saginaw Community Foundation as well. Will there be information on scholarships available to these students at that event?
We can definitely have that information. We can get in contact with Gil and get the applications out. I know they're having their ceremony at the end of this month, their luncheon. But just even having that information and sharing is important.
Yeah, because I tell you, I get a lot of text messages or phone calls where they say, do you know how we can get a scholarship or anything? And it's like, I need your numbers on fast dial, because I just want to push that information, because a lot of times I'm like, oh, I don't know, but I know that there's a lot of opportunity out there in dollars with like I said, the Community Foundation and the American GI Forum and the Civica. We have given over $10,000 to our Queen Scholarship in the last couple of years. And so we really have pushed that educational attainment like I talked about in the beginning. We're going to go into commercial. We'll be right back here with members of Delta College talking about El Camino, the program, the initiative to help in educational attainment. We'll be right back. Well, thank you, everybody, for being with us here tonight. And thanks to our guests because they're putting in some really good information. And I have somebody who I do not understand their name on here. And that's why we're in the live stream only and not in the show. But it says, great information. Do you have online classes and any dual programs? So maybe that's something that we can address once we get back into the show. But everybody, if you've got a question or concern, feel free to jump in. This show is for our community, Mi Gente on Air, and it's your show. And it's not simply my show, it's everybody's show to bring that voice to the table about Latino concerns, contributions, and our culture. And right now, our contributions are really important that we showcase those in the times that we live in. It's been difficult, we know, but I just want to mention to everybody that we have a Valentine's dance coming up on Friday, Valentine's Day, and I want to put it here in this part of the program, not actually in the show. So I want anybody who wants to come on out to our Valentine's Day dance. It is this Friday, right on Valentine's Day. The dance starts at 8 o'clock. Doors open at 6 p.m. with Civica Comida. And there will be information there when you walk in regards to this El Camino program initiative that Delta College is putting forth. So thanks, everybody, for any comments that you have and that you're coming into the room for. And we will address any questions that you may have as well. So let's go back into the show. Let's talk more with Delta College and Dr. Elsa Olvera, Monica Hernandez, Chris
The
Eulis. Why can't I say that? Chris the Eulis. And hopefully maybe Cynthia Reyes can jump in as well. But we'll be having another 22 minutes about information on this program. So join us and don't go anywhere. No te vayas.
You're listening to Mi Gente on Air on WSGW.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Mi Gente on Air. Thank you, everybody, for joining me here on this Tuesday evening. Mi Gente on Air is a program that has been in existence since 2020, and it is celebrating our Latino culture and our heritage. And I'm so happy to be with you tonight. This program will air on Sunday evening at 8 p.m. on WSGW, and I believe we're going to be broadcasting on Saturdays as well, so that's a plus. But tonight we're going to talk more with the educators at Delta College who are doing some great things, and they have an initiative called El Camino, and it's to help students get through the college experience. And they are meeting with different organizations such as the Unión Cívica Mexicana and having program nights, which theirs will be on February 27th from 5 to 6:30 p.m. And I just want to mention, way back 80 years ago when the Unión Cívica Mexicana formed by the founders in 1945, there were 3 reasons why they founded the organization. And one of those 3 reasons was educational attainment for their youth. As migrants and immigrants were coming to the Saginaw area and they were assimilating into the school systems, it was very difficult at that time. And so the language barrier was much more intact than it was today. And so through educational attainment and the efforts of the Unión Cívica Mexicana, they were helping to get school and getting students to graduate from high school. It wasn't even a matter of college in those days. It was just trying to get them through high school. And so here we are 80 years later. Let's jump to 2025. And, we still have trying to get students through college now, not high school, but college. And that's a good thing. But there is still some need and help in the high school level. But college is very important, as we know. And so we have an initiative like El Camino, where Delta College, the president, put forth this effort when talking with individuals in the community I'm talking the Hispanic community, with meetings that were happening at the downtown Delta facility. So can you tell me anything else, Chris, in regards to the El Camino program and what type of success you may be having with the programs that you've had already?
So far, I think the biggest successes have been in the engagement we've seen. The kickoff of the program was probably one of my favorite pieces to it, because we had some of our current students, we heard from alumni, we heard from community members about their experiences on why college matters. And so each of the kind of themes that we built out for the program that we're doing each month are really built around what the community members told us were the questions that folks have or the fears that they have. And these things help us to be able to really address that. And so we heard from a whole panel of our students and our alumni. And some of the stuff that came out of that is the supports that you have on the call with you here, Larry, is on the folks that are on the show right now, is folks like Monica Hernandez that have really made an impact on students. People like Cynthia Reyes, who help people to see college as possible. People like Dr. Olvera that have been in the community from, whether we're talking Saginaw Public or at Delta, to be able to help people to see these opportunities and really make it achievable for the Latino community in Saginaw. And that's really what I think brings kind of this team together. And so I'm just super excited to be able to work alongside of these folks to be able to then keep this work going, because we want to use those community identified needs to be able to drive what we're doing to be able to better support our students. Because I think our community has a better ear to the ground of what's happening in the community. And so that's the other reason why, instead of having everybody come to us, even at our downtown Saginaw Center, which is super accessible, we want to be out in the community with our partners. And so being at La Unión Cívica Mexicana on the 27th is going to be a great experience, I think, for folks to be able to come out and ask any of those questions that they have. We sometimes get questions about the types of programs that Delta has. And so we have classes in person for people that are looking for that. We have a lot of online classes that really expanded a lot with the pandemic. And some of our students complete their entire degree online because that really just works better for them. We have dual enrollment programs for our high school students to start taking classes as early as 14 years old. And so some of our students are graduating from these early college programs that we also have, where they'll graduate from high school with that high school diploma you were talking about in terms of educational attainment and their associate's degree. Some of the time, I think folks also forget, though, that we have a lot of career and technical education focused programs. And so you might not need an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree to be able to do the things you need to do in your field, but you might need that educational certificate. And so you might want to start with some of those programs or scaffold that to get that certificate, to then build toward an associate's degree, and you decide to go on and finish out a bachelor's degree. And we have some great transfer programs that we can help students with as well, if that's the path that they want to go on. But El Camino helps them to be able to find the way that they can connect into those different programs and those supports to be able to make sure that they have the support along the way from start to finish. And we really want to think about, for this session, focusing on how do we get to that finish line? How do we help students to really make it all the way through to be able to finish that degree and really reach that achievement for themselves?
Wow, Chris, man, you the man. You got it made over there. Tres mujeres, un camino. And you have to go back a few years to understand that, when there was a program on Univision called Dos Mujeres, un Camino. So I'm kind of dating myself, but you got three there that is real, that are really Monica's laughing. And, it's wonderful because we have someone like Cynthia Reyes, who has been with Delta for a number of years, and she's just such a pillar in our community, as well as Monica and Dr. O, and they're doing a great job. So Cynthia, thank you for coming on the show, getting away from your party, and tell me a little bit about what you foresee happening, with the program El Camino.
So I believe that El Camino is really branching out into the community to let them know that Delta is there for them and is going to help them be successful with their path moving forward. There are so many people out there who, and it's our community of learners who, they get challenged sometimes. And just like Chris mentioned, they're fearful of how they can access this opportunity. But with the downtown center being so accessible, and we have such a dynamic team providing outreach services, I believe that going into the community, taking this information is only going to benefit those who are yearning for a change in their life, and to also get back to our community once again, which is wonderful for me. That's what I like to see. Is I like to believe in others that the opportunity does exist at Delta, and if you have that drive and you strive for it, we will help you achieve the dream.
Well, anybody who knows Cynthia Reyes knows that she's got kids, she's got grandkids, and that's what we're hearing in the background. That just goes hand in hand with her. So no problem, Cynthia. But I do want to mention to each of you, I think it's really important that we kind of get what your title is there at Delta College, simply so that individuals who know and they're finding out about this staff here that's behind this program can kind of know, like, if you're looking for financial aid, who they could actually go to. So if you could just say your full names and then also give your titles kind of I think that's important because we're throwing a lot of people to the community right now, and I think that we were we didn't do that at the beginning of the program, and I think we should do that now. Chris, go ahead. You first.
All right. My name is Chris Deulis. I serve as the Director of Belonging, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion at Delta.
All right. All right. Monica.
Hi, well, I'm Monica Hernandez. I am the Assistant Director at the Downtown Saginaw Center, and I'm located at our Downtown Saginaw Center at Delta College.
Dr.
Hi.
O.
Oh, Dr.
Well,
Okay.
Cynthia, I actually want you to introduce Dr. O because she's having a problem with her sound on our end. And so if you could introduce her because the volume, I don't know what's going on, but it's echoing big time. And we can edit this out of the actual program that's going to air, but I want to make sure that we understand what her title is as well.
Okay, so Dr. Elsa Overa is the director of the Educational Opportunity Center, and she offers a lot of wonderful opportunities working alongside admissions, the downtown team, financial aid, career services. So it just offers a wonderful opportunity for students to engage with us personally, downtown Saginaw, as well as on campus and at our other off-campus sites. And
Okay.
my name is Cynthia Reyes, and I work in admissions. I'm a recruiter. And the other thing I want to share with everyone is that I have office hours 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, downtown Saginaw, and then 1 day a week on Fridays on my main campus to provide those services.
All right. All right. So I want to mention to my audience February 27th from 5 o'clock until 6:30, the Unión Cívica Mexicana Delta College presents El Camino Initiative. And guess what? There's going to be free dinner there, and they're patito dinners for any of the students that attend. So get ready, right? We're so happy to be a partner in this. I'm talking about the Unión Cívica Mexicana because, pushing our kids to do well and to finish college by any means, is really where we need to focus on in this day and age. And it's always been an issue from, like when I said, when they founded the Civica in 1945 to get kids through high school and now to get them through college. It's just imperative that we as a community we help them because, as they say, it takes a village. And this initiative, I think, really has started off by talking to community leaders, members within the community, to give the initiative of the idea of what to hear from those individuals to Delta College President Dr. Gavin, and to Chris, and to these ladies here, so that we could move forward in this initiative. Is there anything else that you want to say as we head into the last 10 minutes of the program?
I wanted just to share a little bit. Is one thing I've really enjoyed about this program is that the stories, and they're not just our own personal stories, but there are former students' personal stories, our current students, and I feel that that's been so inspirational, and just that's rewarding to me. That and I'm sure with the rest of our team, how many people Dr. O has influenced, and Cynthia, and even Chris. I mean, Chris has been great. He's been an amazing ally, but just also engaging with our current students as well, and has given him a great opportunity to kind of get a sense of our culture. Although he's bilingual, so he speaks Spanish anyhow. But I'm just saying that it's just been nice to hear that, and that's, like I said, that's my reward. Graduation, seeing the students that struggle, cross the stage and get their degree, and then hearing the stories from our students, present, past, and future, that feel safe to talk about some things. So those have really impacted me.
Well, when we talk about educational attainment, what is the number one issue that has been brought forth from the community? And I kind of touched on this earlier, but I'm talking about in regards to what prevents students from actually finishing. Can anybody address that?
If I can, if my mic's working, hopefully it is. Larry, it's just life. we said that years, and administration keep asking, what do you mean? And I said, it's balancing life. You have children at home, you have parents at home, you've got grandparents you're taking care of as well, your significant other, and just trying to attain work, family, school, and in time to study, you know. And a lot of times individuals take a class, but they don't realize like they should be studying a few hours for every 1 hour of class. And then they wait for the last minute to do their assignments or their homework. It's time management. It's balancing life and time management and not missing those assignments and staying on task. And so really the answer is simple. It's life. And everybody has a different lifestyle. Everybody has barriers, whether it's a car that runs or gas that runs, or to walk to class or ride a bike. But primarily, it's them just balancing that and then having the mindset to believe in yourself. That's truly what it is. And like Monica indicated, those stories were so powerful. The student panel that we had in discussing their life, the most important thing that they walked away was, I'm no different than anybody else. And them having to listen to those struggles, and even myself that I finished a few years ago, right? But you know, I've had my degrees for some time now. But even listening to them, they're the same struggles I had, the same struggles Cynthia and Monica and many other. Is that you're not alone, you know? And as Latinas and Latinos in first generation, it's paying it forward. And there's so many more students going to college. And that's the purpose of the El Camino, because we're deep in the community. We're telling them their stories. We're allowing them to have a safe, trustworthy platform, but more importantly, that they can do it. You know, so those stop outs to start it, return back, or those brand new ones, go ahead and begin. And that's what we're about, is that trust to come forward and have friendly people like us, you know, to help them with those next step initiatives.
So, who came up with El Camino, the actual name? Because as we know, that in English it means the road. Um, Tell me a little bit about that in regards to how it came about and whose initiative idea was it to bring forth this program?
Chris, do you want to share a little bit about that? It was really our community, but I'll let him share. Sorry.
We're good. But we actually wanted the community to be able to choose. And so we came up with a few different ideas, because as we were initially talking about this, a lot of the kind of philosophical approach at Delta is to be a net and as a safety net for students and support them in that way instead of a gate or a barrier. And so we don't want to be a barrier for our students. And so initially we were talking about it as La Red. And so as we were thinking about this, like part of what we were talking about for folks is like, does that really make sense? And so as we talked with community members, we kind of brainstormed ideas together. And so El Camino being the way, the path, the road that people go on to be able to do it also helps to align, because our strategic plan at Delta is the way forward. And so El Camino has kind of a dual meaning for us, because it helps for Latinos to be able to be represented in our strategic plans at Delta. And it helps to infuse that community voice in, what are we calling these things? Because if we really are going to say we're going to listen to community members, that doesn't stop at the task force that Monica mentioned. That doesn't stop at infusing that into the sessions. It also is incorporated into the real name of the initiative and how we embody that in the way that we move forward together. Because that's what El Camino really is. That's that path together as we think about going down that road to be able to find different ways for people to have that educational attainment.
Yeah, and that's it's a beautiful story there in bringing forth to our community. I don't remember that there was an initiative like this in the past where they brought together community members to voice their concerns or just ask questions. And I think that was one of the things that I was so impressed with, of course, in the downtown facility, because it was brand new. But, you know, to be able to have the sitting president of Delta College come and address us the way he did, you know, it really brought forth, I think, a beautiful initiative like this, for the betterment of our community. So, is there anything that you find challenging at this point as you put forth this program to the community?
I can start on that. I think the environment that we're in politically has increased some of that fear for some of our community members because it's not just undocumented folks that are afraid right now of being targeted because of some of the policies that are in place. And so as we think about the targeting of diversity, equity, and inclusion as a part of educational attainment for folks, we want people to feel seen and valued, and that means everybody. And so for us to do that really well, we need to name that we've had gaps in serving our Latino community. And so for us to address that gap, we have to work with our community members to be able to do that. But if we're afraid to say those things, if we're afraid to engage in the work, we're not going to really make change to be able to really increase that educational attainment for our community and for this region. And so those are some of the pieces that I think have really impacted the program so far. Is we're building it. It's new and we're learning as we go. And there's a lot of other noise that's impacting folks of, will they be safe going out together? Will we have situations where there's going to be concerns about who shows up and who's documented and who's tracked in what way, and how do we do that? But really our focus is, how do we help you to be able to get the resources that you need and move through those experiences to be able to continue to be supported? Because we all are going through different things. And the community specifically, I think, has some extra pressure right now. But that's, to your point, Larry, from earlier, I think we can showcase that this is a community that can succeed. This is a community that works really hard. This is a community that should be valued as a part of this larger community in this nation. And we need our Latino community to be able to be successful, for our whole nation to be successful. For us to do that, we need educational opportunities for all of our community.
Man, Chris, you are going to go far in life. I thank you for that, because it's something that, even I myself may be afraid to say, just because of the pushback sometimes or whatever. But it's really important that we express that. And that's, truly what I believe our message should be to everybody in the United States today. Because as we see some of the extremists and some of the things that have caused the protests in our nation, we also know that not everybody thinks that way. And so, I do appreciate what you've said, Chris, and I applaud your efforts there at Delta College. And I want to give the ladies, we got 2 minutes left. So if anybody wants to say something, Cynthia, you haven't had much time on the show. So if you want to start, we got 2 minutes before we go off.
Okay, so I want to say something to what Chris is saying about unity. So that's what this is all about, bringing us together on this path, and that's what I find to be so profound, with the students sharing their stories, and with all of our similar, struggles and paths. I want to say that one of the things that's so important is that I want our young people and our adults and the students who maybe have taken some time off of school to understand that you're making a sacrifice for a new you and for a new path in your life. And I want you to strive for it and not give up, and make it happen. That's really important. The other thing that I want to share is that all of us have such a strong hold with encouraging our community to go forth and really, find out these opportunities, and also access the assistance and ask those questions that you're unsure about. We're here to help you with that. The downtown team is amazing out on main campus. We offer flexible hours through 6 o'clock in the evening on Mondays. There's just a lot of opportunity, and I would just want you to reach out to us if you have any questions and just need a template. How do I make this happen? And this is why us going into the communities, we're entrenching ourselves where you're at, and that's important to us because you're important to us. So please keep that in mind.
All right. Well, listen, we do have to end the show, but I just want to mention February 27th, this Thursday night at the Unión Cívica Mexicana, El Camino presentation will be put on by Delta College and these great folks there that you see on the screen. So thank you all for being on the show tonight. I want to applaud you in your efforts, and thanks for being with me here on Mi Gente on Air.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, thanks so much. Cynthia took up the last few minutes for everybody, but that's okay, because now we can talk to the live stream. You're still on, and if there's anything that you want to mention to the community, feel free to. We've got a few minutes here that we can also inform them, but I just want to say that Cristiana Malacara, she's on here. She says, great team right here. They are working endlessly for all students. So that's great to know as well. And I want to mention also, there's another comment here. Again, I don't know who the individual is. It says, looking into Delta on LinkedIn now. And so it might just be an actual student. He says, buenos noches. So good information, everybody. But Chris, is there anything else that you want to bring up?
I want to give Monica a little bit of time to be able to share. I feel like I've been talking a lot. So
let's go, Mo. Let's go, Mo.
Well, I do want to share a little bit about our downtown Saginaw Center's resources. We do provide a food pantry for our students. And again, we have admissions there. We have a student success advisor there throughout the week. We've also got the additional support from Dr. O's office, EOC, which is amazing, with financial aid assistance, with career questions, with just that navigation and guidance. Our staff there is excited to just help our students. The one-stop area is really unique, I feel, because we're able to have students jump on the computer and address their concerns or questions. If we need to get on a virtual with financial aid, main campus, we're able to do that. I do have like a hoteling room. We call it hoteling office, but if there's a crisis going on, we also have telehealth, so we can log people into that office and get the help that they need. Disability resources make appointments at the center for students, so students don't have to drive to main campus. We've also got a bus route from STARS that Delta pays. I call it a direct shot, meaning you go from STARS directly to main campus and back. The routes are, there's 4 different routes addressing our morning classes and our evening classes. Also, I want to just shout out that we did offer this year, which I'm super excited. Currently, we're offering the first 3 classes of the electrician program, and that's a certificate that folds into an associate's degree in skilled trades. And then last fall, we offered a class from residential construction, ARC 101, which is our first class in that program. So we're trying to think out of the box. We also provide at the center, not just online courses, blended courses in person, but validation courses for the nursing program. 70% of our students are some type of form of a health profession, whether it's nursing, surg tech, radiology, respiratory. So those classes are offered in person. We've got study rooms. We've got models that they can check out to study the body for those health programs. We've got 2 computer labs, an area for students to chill, do their homework, or get on the computer. A lot of resources for our students and our community. So I just wanted to share that. And Dr. O, her office is a huge, I'm going to give you an opportunity, Dr. O, maybe to kind of share a little bit about what your office does at the Downtown Saginaw Center.
Thank you, Monica. You did a great job. I want to do a shout out for Downtown Saginaw. So we do have a great team down here, as Monica indicated, and with Cynthia Reyes and other individuals. We always say, just walk through the door. And if you don't want to, then we could do a virtual, right? So we do everything from trying to figure out what you want to go into, to helping you to apply for admissions, completing your financial aid, planning out your courses. And then once you go through the cycle, helping you to complete that orientation and register. So downtown Saginaw, we could do everything. We're on East Genesee, 319, right across from Michigan Works. And again, just walk through the door and or go virtual. But we really are here to help support you. And as Monica indicated, it's not only a center to help you with everything and navigate, but there's all type of classes: English, math, chemistry, everything, biology. We have 3 floors here, and there's a lot of classes, even wellness. So just come on down and visit us here at the Downtown Saginaw Center.
Wow. You guys are a plethora of information. And you know what? From now on, if anybody calls me or they text me and they say, do you know where I can get a scholarship from, or do you have any information? I'm going to say, listen to the show that I did with Delta College. So thank you, ladies. And thank you, Chris, for being with me tonight. It's a lot of good information. And I'm so happy to have had you on the show prior to the event on February 27th. At the Unión Cívica Mexicana from 5 to 6:30 p.m. We will be giving patito dinners to the students that attend, and there's just going to be a really good program for anybody who does attend. And thank you, everyone, again, for just being with me here tonight. All right, so we'll see you next week here on Mi Gente on Air.